how do you, let's say you've got someone, one of your customers, and they're like, hey, I want to build this thing out, right? How do you make sure that that fits in with the overall system of processes that the firm has?
Well, I think first of all, it's looking really where, first of all, understanding actually all the steps in the process, right? A lot of times, let's say if we are actually talking to, let's say, the firm owner, right? They'll say like, oh yeah, this is done like step A, step B, step C. And then we talk to the actual person who is doing the job, maybe like the paralegal or the clerk, right? And they're like, oh, actually, there's like step D, step E, step F, step Z. Right? So first of all, really like making sure that we map out the full process that we are working with. Ideally, have some kind of diagram. I mean, there are a lot of tools, great tools on there like Figma, etc., where you can diagram out the process. Make sure that everybody who is involved in the process kind of agrees to that, right? Because that can also be sometimes an issue if the firm doesn't have proper SOPs, right? Or those SOPs are not necessarily enforced. Process may look different from person to person, right? So making sure that everybody's aligned and the stakeholders, then understanding how, let's say, the data flows, right? Where do we get information from? Do we call up the clients, ask the information? Do we have it in the case management system? Do we have it in a file, but it's, let's say, it's not uploaded to the case management system? And then design a workflow really around that. Understand like what data needs to be entered into the systems, right? So we can then actually make some use of it with automation, with AI, whatever we're utilizing. And then after we have that in place, understanding where can we actually apply automation and what processes can be automated versus not, right? And the decision there would ultimately come down to let's understand the full capabilities of the software that we are using already, right? So it's a case management system, Clio Manage, right? Recently they released automated workflows. You can now apply task list on stage changes, right? In the case lifecycle. Understanding we have that native functionality built in, or do we need to build something extra using a platform like Zapier, Make.com, or something more complex than that?
Yeah. Do- I wonder if you have any advice for people that I'll give you a little story, and then maybe you can give me some advice on this. Where whenever I first started as an attorney, the firm I worked for, they had like their own kind of basic templates. They were somewhat uniform, but I know that each of us attorneys had our own set of documents on our own computer that were kind of our own little templates, and like the receptionist had her own, and the paralegals had their own, and so they weren't in like this joint database where everyone was using them. We had kind of had like the general documents that kind of everyone sort of had modified to make their own. So when you go into a firm like that, where like they don't have any like systems or processes, it's nothing's all integrated.